Hello, Aural Skills. It's Miss Cary, and I'm here to talk to you about the final exam. And it's basically everything we've gone over this semester, listening-wise. So the concepts all built from the ground up. We started with half steps and whole steps, chromatic movement, and then we went right into the intervals. If you think about the harmonic series, the first harmonic you hear when that string rings a harmonic is the octave. Then the fifth. So can you hear the difference between an octave and a fifth and a fourth in unison? I'll go over them. Which one do you think this is? Don't look. Here comes the bride. Perfect fourth. All right, close your eyes. How far apart are those two notes? It's an octave. Not to be confused with perfect unison. And then what's left? Twinkle, 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 cover me. Perfect fifth. So I like to go through the intervals of the major scale. Can you sing them? If you sing the scale warm up, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 4. So if you sing that little song, it'll help you. And then I would check yourself. See, where was I? I'm gonna go back down there. That's an F. 1, 2, oh, 1, 1, perfect unison. 1, 2, major second. 1, 3, major third. 1, 4, perfect fourth. 1, 5, perfect fifth. 1, 6, major sixth. 1, 7, major seventh. 1, 8, perfect octave. I sank a little bit before I got to the top. I was a little flat, but that was pretty good. All right. So all the intervals. So that is the intervals in the major scale. The other ones, there are other ones. So there's only one unison. In the major scale, we have a major second. Can you do a minor second? It's up a half step, I think, as if you're going up the chromatic scale. If you play guitar, 1 fret. Oops. 1 fret, half step. So where was I? C, C sharp. It's also like Jaws, 7, 8. All right. So for thirds, there's a major third in the scale. Can you make that major third, minor third? 1, 2, 3. 1, 3. So sad. 1, 3. Minor third. All right, we know the major third. We know the perfect fourth. Tritone. So you could just know it, or you could go from the fourth up a half step, or from the fifth down a half step. Twinkle, 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 tritone, tritone. All right, that's also, it's usually called the tritone, but you can call it is technically an augmented fourth or a diminished fifth. Okay, major sixth is in the scale. Minor sixth, you can learn it by one of the little songs. Sounds like this. I'm trying to remember how I remember it. Minor sixth. It's the inversion of a major third. All right. We know the major sixth. We need to do the minor seventh. We know the major seventh. That's the major. 1, 7. 7. 1, 7. There's a place for us. Minor seventh. Okay, and we know the octave. Practicing with Teoria, in addition to your drills, is the best thing you can do. Or you could do flashcards and sing them. Can you sing them? Then check yourself. All right. So I've got my modules over here. Half steps and whole steps are the same as minor seconds and major seconds. My go-to for the major second is do, re, mi. Do, re is major second. Do, re, mi, do, major second, minor second, major second, do, re, mi, fa, sol. All right. Very good. Rhythm, the note tree and the rest tree. I would run those rhythm cards. Play them back visually. Recognize them. Feel them in your body. Recognize them. Maybe go through them again. Count them like it's with their note values. Then I would practice rhythmic dictation. Can you not look at the video? Play one. No, that'd be too hard. Write it down. Rhythmic dictations. I think that might be what you need to do. Play the video, let it play. Write down the rhythms you hear, like 4 beats, and keep writing them down. Stop the video, go back, see if you're right. Okay. But counting them, feeling them in your body, and recognizing them, that's one of the best things you can do. But those flashcards will help you. Okay. Know the difference between a time scale and know how to count the rhythms. Know the names of the rhythms and the rests. Okay. All right. Major scales in the circle of fifths. Know how key signatures work. So if I was in another key with lots of sharps, like B, and I gave you a dictation, perfect fifth, can you spell a perfect fifth with B on the bottom? It's an F sharp. So there are things you could, if you don't know those, there are things you can memorize. How many half steps are in a perfect fifth? And then you can count it up and arrive at a B sharp, F sharp. Get it right. So the circle of fifths, know how to recognize moving in fifths. So you have to hear which notes are which and that they're a fifth apart. All right, so if I did. That's moving in fifths. Okay, so melody cards. Those are good. Can you read the melody on the card? Can you sing it? And then listen to it and hear whether, with the rhythm, and hear whether you're right. So running those cards will be good. The cards are all in C. So I would look at the card and think, if it was an E to a F, I would see a line to a space and know that that was a half step. So recognizing the intervals on the staff will help you. If I played a melody could you write it down on the staff? All right, you guys are doing good at that. Okay, minor scales. What's the difference between a major scale and a minor scale? How are the intervals different? What's the relative minor? How do you find the relative minor? I take the tonic, so if we're in C, it's a C, the key you're in, and I go down the scale. 8, 7, 6. Continuing would be 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 8, 7, 6. And that is the tonic for your minor scale. And that's the relative minor. So it's a scale, it's the mode starting on the 6th note. So you don't change the key signature and all. So here's C major. Minor is so could you change C major to make it C minor? What intervals would you have to change? You'd have to lower the 3rd, 4 and 5 is the same, then lower 6 and 7, and then you end up at the tonic again. That's natural minor. How do you make a natural minor a harmonic minor? You raise the 7th note. Keep it the same coming down. Oops, play it correctly. All right, and the melodic minor, the reason they raise the 7th is so you could have the 5-1 or 5-1 in the minor, because the lower 7 didn't pull as hard as the 5-1 that everyone's so used to. So with the melodic minor, they made it even more like the major scale at the top. Then they could have the 4-5-1, basically just changing the minor 3rd and the 1. So the melodic minor, you raise it going up and you lower it coming down. So you raise 6 and 7. You make the top half like the major. You let it end up major. And then when you are doing a descending scale-wise passage, if you're composing using this, you would flatten the 6 and 7. So that sounds like this. Natural minor is the same coming down as the melodic minor. All right, so finding the relative minor, knowing how that works, thinking of that as patterns. You could use that in a pattern. Circle of fifths, knowing how that works, you can use that in a pattern. If you want to transpose keys, they usually say introduce 5-1 of the key you're going to. That often puts you going around the circle of fifths. But I digress. Okay, pentatonic scales. Pentatonic scale I'm most concerned with is the spacings of the black notes. And the book puts you in either a major pentatonic or a minor pentatonic. That is what you designate as your tonal center, but it's still that same spacing. So I will tell you right now, I'm not going to ask you about the major pentatonic or the minor pentatonic. I'm just going to call this pentatonic, and I'm not going to give it a tonic. I might ask you to write a song. Using that spacing, and you can put it on the white keys, or as long as you have whole I'll let you figure it out. All right. Pentatonic scales, major and minor scales. Dyads and triads. So dyads are intervals. This is the point where I started introducing them, played at the same time. Harmonic dyads. So that's intervals played at the same time. So you can set that on Teoria for harmonic intervals to be played together. Now triads, this is where it goes to the next level. The main triad is the major triad, the triad on the 1. If we're in C, 1, 3, 5. So that's a major triad. That is the main building block. In the major scale, if you build triads on each one, the 5 chord is a triad, a major triad as well. So and because of reasons explained in the modules, the 5 pulls to 1. So the 7 wants to resolve to the 8 in the 5. The 1 is already the G is already in the 1 chord, and the 2 wants to resolve down. This wants to resolve down. That wants to resolve up. That's already there. So if we did those all, made those all resolve, it would be flush that out. You get a very satisfying feeling of having arrived. 5-1. That's why it's called the dominant chord, because it's so dominant. It loves going back to the 1. Feels great. Classical era loved it. Baroque era loved it. The Baroque era loved playing around with you. Listen to Bach fugues or any Bach pieces. He will give you a deceptive cadence. He will take you to the 5 and just really give you 5 false endings before he gives you the 1. Baroque era loved puzzles and tricks. Classical drew off of the Baroque era, but they were more direct in their love of the 5-1. Simplicity and elegance. All right, 4 leads to 5, 5 leads to 1. 4 is also major. Okay? If we start on the 5, then play the 1, then play the 4, we've gone around the circle of fifths. I just noticed that. No accident. The circle of fifths, if you keep studying it, you'll see all the different patterns and how the chords relate to each other in the keys. But I digress. So, no, in the major scale, 1, 4, and 5 will all be major. 4 is called subdominant. It pulls to the 5 because it's kind of like a 7-1 action. Okay, subdominant. Now the other chords that are left, 2 and 3, they're kind of the weakest ones. They don't do much. They can kind of function as a subdominant. 3 as a subdominant, 2 as a weaker dominant. All right, what's left? So, minor. I love the 2. It's mournful. It's lonesome. 3. We did 4 and 5. 6 is powerful because it's the relative minor. So it can also function as a tonic. 7 is not far off from the 5 chord because it has 2 of the same notes. So that functions as a dominant. And then the 1. So I'm playing them all in root position. That's what we did for most of the semester. The triad is in root position. Now when we switched them to their inversions, it was harder you have to hear things more in detail. That makes it harder. So you listen for what note is on the bottom. You figure out what note is on the bottom. That's the rule. Whatever note that is, that determines the inversion. No matter how spread out your chords are. Let's see. So I've got it in 2 hands. I've got the root, 5th, 3rd in the treble, 8. Love that voicing. What's on the bottom? Well, can you hum it? Can you hum it? That's a 5th. The only note left. Because the root is on the bottom, that's a root position. Now, the chords that I hear in my head from practicing the piano as a younger person, I didn't keep it up, as you can probably tell, was at the end of each scale. Or in some books, so I've been throwing you those in the harmonic dictation questions in the quiz. So let's look at that because, you know, it might come up. It's using the inversions. All right. So I've played my scale. I come back. I play root, 1 chord. The root on the bottom. 1, 3, 5. The closest 4 chord that I really think it was out of economy of movement. I find that with the guitar too. Why you play certain chords in voices on the guitar, it's because it's close, it fits your hand better. Of course they planned that to work that way, but sometimes it's just that simple. So the closest 4 chord is if I take my 1, 3, 5, 3, 5, move it up to the 4, and then it's 3rd, put the 5th on the bottom. So here I was in the root. What note is, I'll take the bass out of there. What note is on the bottom? Can you hum it? And I see in my head a 4th and a 3rd above it, almost like shapes. I kind of see this. The 4th in my hand and a space. I see the bigger space than the little space. So what inversion is that, ladies and gentlemen? second inversion because the fifth is on the bottom. That sounds like taps. So that is not the first inversion, but the second inversion. Then back to the root. And then the closest 5 chord that'll fit in my hands is if I take my root and third down in the scale. And then I have a 5 chord. I have my little space on the bottom and my 4th on the top. A third and a 4th on the top. That means the root is on the top and the third is on the bottom. Can you hum what's lowest? I can feel that bigger space when I'm trying to sing higher too. I have to put more air. So what inversion of that is that? The root's on the top, so that leaves the third on the bottom. It's not root position. It's first inversion. And then I could go back to root. So I'd say get used to that. If you play the piano, practice scales. I need to practice it more. 1, 1, 4, 5. Whoops. 1, 4, 1, 5, 1. 1, 4, 1, 5, 1. I'm singing the roots. Or I could sing the lowest note. 1, 4, 1, 5, 1. Singing the chord names. Different inversions. You have to put your listening microscope on to hear the inversions. But if you hear, whether it's major or minor, you hear the notes in the scale, you know that that's a major triad some way, somehow. That's great. That's good. Then hear which note is on the bottom. Can you hum the root? I want to think about that. So here I'm making sure. Inversions, chord functions, harmonic progressions, final exam review, and that's where we are. So for harmonic progressions, can you hum the lowest note you hear? And also, can you infer the root from the song that you hear, from what you hear? Now, this is where I'll invite you to listen to the music that you like. As long as it as long as it's not Eastern music that uses microtones, or African music that uses microtones, as long as it uses scale-wise movement and traditional instruments, even electric bass and electric guitar, things like that. This should work. So you listen to your song, listen to the end of the song. And can you hum the root? Can you hum the tonic of the key that it's in? It's kind of tricky, but it really helps you find your whereabouts. It's also harder to hear lower sounds. So can you practice listening to the bass lines, tuning into the bass line. I'll tell you a trick. The bass plays the root. When they end at the end of a line, the bass's job is to play the root. So if you listen to the end of the song, unless it's a song that doesn't resolve, which happens maybe 4% of the time, it's going to give you the root. All right? Or can you imply it from how the melody moves around? Can you hear the scales and hear how if you went 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, can you hear the root? All right, so let's do a couple of these can you hear the root exercises. So what if I were, let's get my pedal together here. What if I were to play this? Now, even if you can see which finger I'm playing, doesn't matter. I don't care. The first thing you need to do is hear it and hum it. So you don't even have to know what letter it is or anything. Can you match pitch with the root? So if I played this song, I'll just stop right there. Hum. I'm going to try it too. Now then you check by singing the scale. See if that fits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a C. I knew we were in C, so I can tell you if you did this or this or this or this, you got it. That's the root. So if you listen to symphonies in Baroque era and classical era, and often symphonies today, they are named by what key they are in. Like Mozart's symphony in G minor. So I would say listen to the end. Sometimes they'll take you to a different key or something. So listen to the end of it, the end of a section, and hum the root. Check yourself on the piano. Is it a G? Can you hear the root? All right, let's try another one. Hum the root. What have you got? Can you sing the scale? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's messing with my iPad. So that was an F, and that's an F. So when you're driving in your car, I know most of us are stuck at home. You might be still driving in your car, listening to the radio. When the song ends, turn the radio off so you have silence. Go in your head. If you ended that song, what would your bass note be? I did the 5, 1, and F. Can you hear the root? Let's see. That was tricky because I stopped in the middle. And I'll tell you, the lowest note I played was not the root. What do you think is the root? The tonic. melody often ends on the root. I think that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, the weather outside. Oh, I didn't know that one's gonna be so hard. That's the root. That was hard. Let's try one with the guitar, and then I'm gonna send you off to practice the melody cards, to look at the module, make sure you know how to build the different triads. All right. 7th chord adds a 3rd on top of a triad. Can you hear the root? I don't even, if you can see the guitar and know what chords I'm playing, it doesn't even matter. I want to know if your ears can hear the root. What should I play? Oh. Should play the tuning song. Octave, that's how I tune it. Harmonics. Yikes. Aural Skills. I think I'm pretty close now. Okay. We had wandered in the shadow of the past. The moon looked down on you and me, and a darkness stole across the summer sky, and a love light shined between my love and me. What is the root of that song? Can you hum it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. E. It's E. I lied, this is too fun. Sitting in the sun and playing the guitar. I'm sorry this video is so long, but let me do one more little verse. What is one that might, this song is fun. It goes around the circle of fifths. Now, if you directly go around the circle of fifths, some of them will be minor triads, and some of them, yes, will be diminished and things. But in this song, every time they go around the circle of fifths, they make it major. And it sounds like you're going to a new key each time. It's crazy. It's an exciting song. It's a bluegrass song. Down in the wildwood, sitting on a log, finger on the trigger and the eye on the hog. Honey, let me be your salty dog. Let me be your salty dog, and I won't be your man at all. Honey, let me be your salty dog. I'll just play the chords. What's the root? Can you hum it? C. And let me be your salty dog. 5, 5, 4, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1. So, pop songs usually use chords within the key unless they go to another key. But you can usually hear it if it goes to another key. So, listen to one of your songs. Sit down with the piano or your instrument and maybe figure out the cadence. Most songs end with a cadence. Country songs often end with a 5-1 cadence. You walk by and I fall to pieces. So that was 4, 5, 1. Let's see. You walk by and I fall to pieces. All right, 4, 5, 1. So you can tell I'm a country music fan, but pop songs and rap songs and funk songs, classical music, they will use these cadences because they sound good. All right. Good luck studying, everyone. Be ready for any listening exercise I've given you all semester. If you have any questions, send me an email. And good luck on the exam. I'll be posting it soon along with a study guide. Okay.